Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm ElliJare.
I am JTilly. Dude, it's been a while.
Dude, a month of Sundays, y'all. Man,
Yep.
It is good to see you. JTilly has been on location doing stuff, and it's awesome to see you. And man, there has been so much going on. I haven't seen my guy. We did a birthday thing for me. Thanks for showing up too.
Oh, of course.
We met at a little pizza place in Jacksonville, and I haven't seen you since May 7th or 8th or whatever.
Yep.
So,
and before that was WrestleMania.
And before that was WrestleMania. I was just going to say, I was going through some of my photos. I was like, man, it was so cold back then. And shoo. But good to see you, dude. What's going on in the world of your ref fandom?
Man, it's funny though. Like, we start off with wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans. They're getting away from that term, so now it's just going to be pro wrestling fans again,
Dude.
Which is great. But yeah, it's been a while since we've talked. Let's see what's happened. You turned 50. AEW is in a struggle for power with Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm.
WWE went and gave it to Cody, and now we got King of the Ring tournament, which the matches have been very good.
Very
but
good.
But the entire format of WWE seems to have changed a little.
Yeah.
I feel like they're focusing more on matches than they have in the past, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff, Moxley went out there and won New Japan title.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston has lost all his titles.
Oh my goodness. That was like, so now for those who didn't catch, was it Vengeance or Revenge? The latest New Japan show, Eddie Kingston lost his last championship. Well, it wasn't a clean victory. The EVPs showed up, Nicholas and Matthew, and jammed him out of a title, which is awesome for storytelling and booking and all this other stuff. Well, then it, turn around and Mox gets attacked, and it wasn't Naito, but
Evil, like his whole
Evil.
crew.
Thank you. Yeah, Evil. And they freaking spray painted the New Japan title black. And dude, I'm sorry that the title was defaced, and I don't want to see this whole NWO thing in New Japan, but that looked freaking cool, man. Mox is pissed, and I'm very fearful for everyone on the New Japan roster, because there is going to be some hell to pay. And then speaking of paying hell, like, damn, you've got Solo Sikoa.
Yep, New Bloodline.
Toma Tonga, Loa, and then the Tonga sisters out of Women of Wrestling, WOW, over there. They finally got released from their contract, and they're talking about all the abuse and everything going on. I won't get into that because I'm not in the locker room, but this Bloodline thing, and CM Punk were so
Fatu's supposed to be coming in.
I cannot wait to see him. So if you haven't seen Jacob Fatu, just imagine seeing I'm trying to think someone bigger. Just imagine someone a little bit smaller than Bronson Reed, things not quite as phenomenal as AJ Styles, but able to get up off the ground, take flight off of the ropes. And Jacob Fatu, I am extremely fearful for the WWE and the wrestlers, sports entertainers on the roster, because he is going to raise holy hell. This new Bloodline, I don't know who they're going to bring in to be the fourth member, because if you do the face and the heel, so you do the Usos and Roman Reigns against Solo, Loa, and Tama with Jacob Fatu, so you're outnumbered, and then you're not going to bring Sami Zayn in. So there's someone else, and I don't think it'd be Rikishi at this point.
No,
it
could be The Rock, because Roman's going to be out for a while, so they could be. It could be that Solo runs wild with it for a while.
Yeah.
And you get the Usos come in, and The Rock returns even though they were trying to set up The Rock versus Roman, but you could do those four. So you do 4-on-4, and then you have Roman turn on The Rock and the Usos again. And then he goes on the heel faction with them. And there's a lot of things they could do. It'll be interesting for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's just so much. You've got to, the news coming out of so we'll kind of like run around with some of the injury bugs, over in AEW, hearing now that I thought the angle with Chuck was an angle, and to now hear that this potentially, what we saw in the parking lot in Jacksonville, could potentially have been his last match. I mean, super unfortunate. And if you're going to go out, you want to go have a, banger of a match with your brother. And, those guys have been on the road together since day one in EW, going on 5 years now. So, so Chuck is nicked up, and, hoping nothing but the best. And, I really hope it isn't his last match, but if it is his last match, thank you for everything that you did for all wrestling, and hopefully Tony keeps him in the family, because I'm sure he's still got a lot to offer professional wrestling.
Yeah,
over there.
Last thing I read is he's training to do producing and
Awesome.
Commentary and stuff. So he's like, the plan is to keep him around in just a different role, which is, that's a good way to do it too, I think.
Taz hasn't been able to travel for a little bit.
Both knees and both shoulders.
Dude, yeah.
That's a lot of surgery.
That's, that's definitely, the years of being the human suplex machine. You might be throwing people, but you're still taking a bump. And then, I think Father Time is undefeated. So, and you got Jim Ross. I don't know how many slobber knockers we're going to get. So we need to create a successor for him. And nothing against Excalibur. I don't think it's Excalibur. And like, what we're seeing over in the WWE with Corey Graves coming up and really doing really good stuff. Michael Cole, he said he's closer to the end than the beginning, so, that's been, wild. I'm trying to think of all the other injuries. Zelina Vega.
Eddie Kingston.
That's what I was going to say. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say on the AEW side.
Yep. Eddie Kingston hurt his knee. I guess Will Ospreay was dealing with a little back soreness, but ended up not being as bad.
Good.
Yeah, I can't think of any of the other other than the ones we know about. Britt Baker's still out, whether it's injury or not. She's still not there. Jamie Hayter's still out.
Man, I can't wait to see Jamie back. Great to see Britt, though. You pointed out Britt being injured. She's been rehabbing with DDP.
Nice.
So she looked rock solid on one of the photo shoots that she did. I don't know if Lamara would be interested. Thunder Rosa would be interested in training with DDP to avoid having to get back surgery. That might be an option for her too. But so all of the injuries over with EW. There's a couple other ones too that they haven't vetted, and then you've got Zelina Vega, Lashley. They're going to start transitioning Lashley to become sort of like a special event kind of a thing, just because he's been so nicked up. He's 48 years old too.
Holy cow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Back to AEW real quick. Omega will be getting surgery very soon.
I knew another big one. Yeah, Omega. His injury. That's a pretty serious one.
Man, so I'm glad they finally got that figured out, because, just to see him, especially, he needs to get surgery, and then he still laid himself out there to get, schwacked. I mean, that's a love for the game to allow himself to get, lit up like that. Just that EVP trigger, and man, that's not for the weak of heart. Damn.
No, not at all. And then the chair shot to the gut, which is, yes, that was probably somewhat protected, but still, I mean, that's a shot to take when you're dealing with what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
Just look at the UFC fight when Brock Lesnar came back from his. And was it Alistair Overstream that kicked him once in the gut and ended the fight because it hurt so bad? So, that's dire. Yeah, I can't even say it. It's scary.
The defeculartitis or whatever. Yeah. Man, your guts. You're training so hard. Your body is under such stress that your innards are like, yeah, man, I can't do this. I'm not designed for this.
Sheesh. Yeah, it's insane. So what we talked a little bit about the Bloodline thing, which I think is a good story that they're doing. But have you noticed on Raw how it just, if CM Punk's not there, it's just kind of like, meh. Like they lost Cody, so Cody's on SmackDown. And I've just noticed, like, especially last night's, it was Drew and the champ, Damian Priest, in the ring talking, and I'm just like, okay, but like without Punk, there's like that star factor's not there, and that's a little concerning because that means they're not building. Like, there's nobody I think right now that can come out there and get a pop like you're going to get from CM Punk, or, I mean, I guess Jimmy or Jay Uso gets a pop, but I don't think he's a good wrestler at all. He's got like 4 moves, but anyway.
Shit. I mean, John Cena had 5, and
that's true. That's true. But I never thought he was a great wrestler either.
Facts. Yeah. Well, Jay Uso, at least you can't hear him talking in the ring. Like, all right, man, roll me over.
Yeah, that's true. But I noticed that, so I was just curious what you're thinking. Like, okay, so eventually, I assume we'll have the Punk Drew McIntyre payoff. But like, what's the next steps for them to try to get Raw back up to that energy that they had going pre-WrestleMania?
Yeah, pre-WrestleMania, I mean, it was all hands on deck. It felt like everybody was everywhere all the time. And then, boom, you lose Mommy. You lose Cody over to SmackDown. And then, you're trying to get Chad Gable to be the modern-day Kurt Angle. It's true. But instead, he's saying, thank you. And last night, man, he was vile. He was vile. And Sami Zayn is still getting a good pop. You're seeing Gunther. He's still, moving the needle. I think once Dragunov gets a little more screen time, there's a really good chance. And then, I want to feel what Tiffany Stratton's boyfriend is telling me, but it's like, I don't know. He's not really resonating as much as he was when he'd come out and, ask for, everybody stand up and give them their, respect to Gunther. So I don't know. It's definitely an issue. Pierce talking about how strong the tag team division was and everything going on with that. You're like, okay, yeah, tag teams are strong, but like, who are you going to have? Like, who makes sense to go against the champ? Who makes sense to go against the Intercontinental champ? Like, we're just waiting for Finn to finally get upset and go against Damian, or I don't know. I mean, maybe Jay does win the title and then he wins it back, and then Damian Priest wins it back at SummerSlam or something, or something happens where the title, because everything looks like CM Punk is going to return around SummerSlam. So Drew McIntyre will be healed from his hyperextended elbow. You're going to have CM Punk back from his torn tricep, and then you'll have the implosion, possibly return, maybe not return. That might be a little too quick for Mommy. And then damn, what's his name? Calm down there. He's going to be on the rack for 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing so much more of Carlito over there. So, I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, the Bloodline. So
does the King of the Ring this year and the Queen of the Ring get a title shot? I thought I heard that part of being the King or the Queen, they get a title shot now. So could it be Gunther that overturns Priest? And you give Gunther the belt and he carries it for a while, and you finish this feud with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and then CM Punk and Gunther is your world title program rolling into, Royal Rumble, or hell, even you could stretch that out to next year's Mania, because those two in the ring. Wow.
Imagine CM Punk getting chopped.
Because
you get Gunther, one, just like Mark Henry. You get one, make it count.
Yeah, because, I mean, to me, Gunther is very old school style, very much like target a body part, work that body part the whole match, and then finish it off with that. So, and we know that's how CM Punk likes to do it. Like, that match, like, I say that as a WrestleMania match, but that would be a main event on one night, I think.
Absolutely.
You could absolutely build that into one of those amazing stories. And then you could even have Drew win Money in the Bank, have CM Punk win, and then have Drew cash it in and take it from him in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, my God.
As like a repeat or a reversal. They could do some fun stuff.
Dude, you realize you just like wrote so many stories, right?
Yeah, just booked all the way throughout.
So CM Punk finally gets to main event WrestleMania.
Yep.
He gets his WrestleMania moment. Drew McIntyre gets his revenge.
Yeah.
And like the work that Drew McIntyre is doing, and he's not even in the ring right now, is ridiculous. And I love how he sits down in the ring, or when he did the his latest little video that he did, he said he embodied the energy of Eminem or something when he was. I was just like, dude, yeah, it's. Dude, that is an awesome state. That could get us from so this is what, middle of May to the middle of April of next year, and and then when they finally Alliance Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, on the 19th of April would explode, and if they did SmackDown on Friday before Mania, and right now, like we were saying, like we don't know where Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, or NXT is going to be, if it's Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. I mean, and especially if they're on Netflix, is it really going to matter what night they're on? Now you're losing that whole demo thing, right? Like, Jericho used to talk about being the demo god, and I'm just like totally blown away. But this great storyline though. So now night one could be the World Championship, and you'd have Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair still as your tag teams. They could lose the title, implode, and then start their feud for the following. Yeah, and then it
depends. Like, you could have them running and start imploding now, and that could be your match going into this coming WrestleMania. And it'd be fun to sit down and try to map out next year's WrestleMania, because the other potential matches out there would be CM Punk versus Cody, because they already teased that a little bit. Obviously, everybody wants the Rock and Roman still, so you could get that. Then you get the Guerrillas of War versus the Usos. So the Bloodline stuff's still there. Dragunov and Gunther, we know are going to put on a banger whenever they do it. Is that something you hold off till Mania, or do they have kind of a legacy feud going through there? Yeah, there's some pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, I had a little bit more high hopes, and then when I saw Gunther and Sheamus facing in the King of the Ring, I was like, man, because I'd like to see Gunther win the Intercontinental title here soon, and then he becomes the double Grand Slam champion, having won all the titles on both shows.
You mean Sheamus?
And what did I say?
Gunther.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had high hopes when I saw Sheamus in the King of the Ring.
Gotcha.
Him coming back from injury, only to meet Gunther in the tournament. I'm like, okay, great match. He's getting back into ring shape. He's a little rusty, but like to beat him down like that, you're like, oh, man, now what? So,
switching gears to AEW though, real quick too. We won't go too much into AEW. We'll save that for later on in the week, maybe after Dynamite. But I do want to talk about Forbidden Door a little bit, because the rumors of Forbidden Door this year are getting pretty interesting. You've got, first of all, you got AEW going over to Triple Mania for the first time. So they're going to be at the Big Mexico Triple A Mexican, like their WrestleMania, which is cool. But now the talks of Forbidden Door will not only be New Japan, Stardom. So you're going to see a lot of the Stardom women. So we're already seeing a little bit of them sprinkled into the AEW Dynamite. But now they're talking about bringing over AAA and what's the other one over there? CML.
CMLO, yeah.
So what? So not only are you maybe just going to get like AEW versus whoever, but you could actually get New Japan wrestlers versus AAA wrestlers now, or someone like from Stardom taking on one of the women luchadors. Like so it kind of expands that whole. We're not always going to see New Japan versus AEW. Now it's going to be like, we might see Evil, whatever the Mexican cartel one is. Like, there's some pretty cool stuff they could do.
Yeah, it opens up a playbook when, everybody's available, and, you compare that card to the Royal Rumble, and we had one wrestler from TNA.
Yeah.
And I would I'd be over the moon if, something could get worked out to where it's one freaking super card. And I remember years and years ago, not to date myself too bad, but Super Card 3, it was Jerry Lawler versus Kerry Von Erich, and that was going to be unifying and becoming one big champion. And this was when World Class Championship Wrestling, AWA, and then World Class Championship Wrestling was transitioning and getting bought out. And, they were just going to merge the titles. And I thought, man, this is awesome. A super show. You don't normally see wrestlers from other organizations against each other. Then Vern Gagne didn't end up paying Jerry Lawler. And you're like, man, I forgot that there's real life involved. You got to politic, because not everybody can win from one company. Unlike when it was TNA and AEW. AEW always won. But it's like, man, I'm super excited about this Forbidden Door. And I guess Bryan Danielson's going to take a little bit of time off coming up here shortly and get ready for the last few months of his career. I can only imagine who he's going to step in the ring with and what kind of a fight he's going to put on. And just, the fans are going to be over the moon.
Especially like All In. You figure he's going to probably want to do one massive banger at All In with that crowd. So,
yeah.
Is it going to be Nigel coming out of retirement for a one-time match?
Wow.
He takes a lot of jabs at Danielson.
Yeah, he does.
So that would be one of those, like, blood feuds from back in the day, re-upped. But I'm glad Danielson has put that on his career, but I like the fact that he's also said he's not stepping away from wrestling, though. He's just going to he'll probably become more of a booker, or, maybe he could be that leadership piece that AEW seems to be missing it sometimes. So it'll be interesting. And I wonder if they're going to write him off at Double or Nothing at the end of this month to give him his time off, because they've got that Anarchy in the Arena show with the Elite. So they could do an angle where they beat him down pretty good. And with Claudio on the last show saying that, hey, he's stepping out of it because he doesn't want to see his friends getting hurt. With Mox, involved overseas with the New Japan stuff. Like, I could see him using that to kind of write Danielson off for a little bit to let him do his thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good eye to what the storylines could be. I didn't even think about that.
Because you're not going to beat the Elite. I mean, I like this Team AEW thing, but they're not going to beat the Elite. Because I think who's going to end up beating the Elite, personally, I think they're going to go with this for a while. I think when Kenny comes back, it's going to be Kenny, MJF, Hangman Page, and I just haven't figured out who that fourth one is yet. Like maybe Will Ospreay. So then you've got, it's just a super duper match, because can you imagine the Elite? So you've got Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, it's the Scapegoat, Jack Perry and Okada, versus, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and, Hangman Page and MJF coming back. Like, that'd be, and what a way to bring MJF back as like your hero, but yet he's still an asshole. So he's still our asshole, Yeah. That'd be a good way to do that. Do
you think it would be worthy of a Guevara or Darby Allin?
It could be. Yes, I like the idea of that. I just don't know if they could hang with, Guevara, not as much as, I think Darby could hang better with the Elite than Guevara could.
Yeah.
I like Sammy a lot. I just don't think he is at the caliber of Okada can make everybody look good, I guess. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad...
like when you line them up, you need, you need sort of a heavyweight. You've got the tag team, and then you've got the Scapegoat. So you're like, okay, so
Darby might work, because you could do Matthew and Nicholas, and they pair off against Hangman and Kenny Omega. So that's the original Elite. So that's those four. Then you could pair Okada off against MJF, which would be great, because all the shit MJF talked about how New Japan's not real wrestlers and all that. And then, you can bring Darby in to square off against Jack Perry.
Have this set the pillars, or, whatever. Because there was something that Jack Perry said that was sort of like a play on the pillars, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
So-
Something like, I used to be a pillar and now I'm the foundation or something like
There
that.
it is.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is that time away.
Ooh.
Absolutely Perry. And wow, just to
And-
see him go from Jungle Boy, whatever they were calling him, Jungle Jack or whatever, to this. Like,
Yeah.
wow. You know, now that you just said to really put Osprey on the AEW map, aligning Osprey with, you know, his arch rival, for lack of better terms, with Kenny Omega, Hangman, or do you have the current champion Swerve Strickland, who, you know, basically got his butt beat. Everybody turned on him, and it was him and Prince Nana, and like, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure in both shows right now. So it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I think we talked about it last year when we were starting podcasting, or actually the year before, but we talked about it a lot last year about how it's a time to be a wrestling fan. So I think that renaissance is still going. I think WWE is hotter than it's been for a while.
Oh man, yeah, heck yeah.
I think you know, whatever your opinion of Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, Paul Levesque, whatever you want to call him, is, you can't deny that he's doing a decent job at the booking over there. So
yeah. He's definitely making a difference. I think he is there at a really, really good time. And the fact that TKO, you know, everybody on the, you know, TV channels and whoever the governing body is there is really letting them go. And while The Rock was on there, I mean, he was letting it fly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Cody last night talking about, I think he said pissed a couple of times and ass a couple of times. I'm like, oh man, they're really letting them go. Or TKO is like, well, you know, we lost money this year anyway, so we'll just keep paying fines. They lost $254 million this year.
That's insane.
And that company is worth $12 billion. B with
That's
a B.
Crazy. That's
Actually,
almost
I think it's more than
that,
but
that's insane.
It's what?
That's almost our net worth. It's crazy.
There it is. Hey, you know, one can dream, guys. One can dream. Keep the dream alive.
Sweet,
man.
Well, so on that note, we'll wrap this one up. But we are going to try to get back on a steady schedule, guys. Life happens. We went to WrestleMania, got back, and more life happened. But there's a plan. ElliJare and I have talked about it off air that we are refocusing for sure. At least every Tuesday, we'll be getting together, and we're going to try to cut some more on the weekends, get some stuff canned out, and get rolling back into what we're doing, hopefully 3 times a week, if not more. So
heck yeah.
We are going to do a live watch along of Double or Nothing on the 6th of May, I think it is. I was going to ask you about doing the King and Queen of the Ring, but it's at like 1 on a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
And you know, none of that, it's in Saudi, and I usually don't like to promote that too much. So I'm going to let them do their show and I'll watch it later. But
yeah, I'll be at work.
Yeah. But I do definitely want to do a watch along for Double or Nothing. So that'll be, look forward to that towards the end of the month. We'll have El Editor on and possibly some other special guests. We shall see.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're working on, been talking to him about trying to get some other people on.
Heck yeah.
Just even if it's for like 20, 30 minutes here and there, just to pop in and say hi. So
cool.
That'll be cool. If you like what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe. I know the content on YouTube has been kind of lacking a little bit. ElliJare soloing himself, and we're getting back into the swing of it. So we will make sure that we are uploading some content. I have a whole slew of new quiz and trivia questions coming out, so look for those shorts. Those should be hitting probably by the end of the week. I'll have those all edited and ready to go, so those will be going out. Also, some other little fun things coming out on the short side of it. And as always, if you want to hear the audio version of this podcast, going over 500,000 downloads and strong, hit number 30 in the U.S. Pro Wrestling podcast charts last week. So 35, which is amazing because we hadn't put anything out in like a week. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a huge spike. I don't know what caused it, but thank you for everybody who just went, oh, I'm going to check this out for whatever reason.
These yahoos out.
Yeah. The World Podcast Network, or New York City Podcast Network, continuously voting us up on their charts. So we must be doing something right. So we're going to start pushing these out a little more. getting back on our schedule so you guys at least get 1 or 2 a week. Appreciate everything. Like, share, subscribe, follow us wherever you get your podcast from, and hot tag out, man.
Bump and feed. Hey, great to see you, JTilly. Thank you so much to the fam for checking us out here in the No Shave Man Cave. Just like we do, we send our mad shout outs to our fellow brothers and sisters in arms. Thank you so much for what you do. Hurry up and get your ass back home. If you are in any form of crisis, please get help somewhere. You are loved and you are needed. Dial 988, or if you're a veteran, you can grab the My Healthy Vet app, hit that little red bar across the top, or go to va.gov and just get help somewhere. Thank you so much for checking us out. As always, on behalf of JTilly, I'm ElliJare. Check us out very soon. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.